Here's your text translated into English, keeping the eerie, atmospheric tone intact. In the heart of Egypt in 1922, a sandstorm revealed something unexpected. The young archaeologist Howard Carter watched as the wind unearthed the entrance to a staircase buried for millennia. He sensed something different there, as if the desert itself was trying to speak. After years of fruitless excavations, this felt like a whisper from the past. A small, intact seal bore the name of a nearly forgotten pharaoh, Tutankhamun. No one believed his tomb still existed, but Carter swore he felt a chill run down his spine when he touched the seal. It was as though invisible eyes were observing him. Though skeptical, his sponsor, Lord Carnarvon, granted permission to open it. And so began one of the most mysterious discoveries in history. Carefully digging, the team uncovered a second door also intact. Hieroglyphs warned in red, "Death shall come on swift wings to him who disturbs the sleep of the king." Some workers refused to continue claiming they had heard moans at night. Carter didn't believe in curses, only in facts. When the seal was broken, a strange scent escaped like ancient smoke or rotten incense. On the other side, a dense, compact darkness awaited them. By the weak light of lanterns, thousands of artifacts emerged, statues, gold, furniture, chariots, all perfectly preserved, as if the young king was still waiting for his next life. But the golden coffin had not yet been opened, and there lay the true secret. Few days after the opening, Lord Carnarvon was bitten by a mosquito on the face. The wound mysteriously became infected, and he died with fever and delirium. That very night, the whole of Egypt experienced a power outage. They said that at the exact moment of his death, Carnarvon's dog howled and dropped dead in his home in England. Newspapers spread, "The curse of Tutankhamun is real." Other members of the team also fell ill. Some went insane. Carter, still skeptical, continued his studies anyway. But even he began to have strange dreams with golden eyes watching him from the shadows. The statues seemed to shift positions. Something ancient, starved, seemed to have awakened. The burial chamber was protected by 4 nested shrines. At the center, a sealed sarcophagus, and inside it, 3 coffins. The last one was made of solid gold. The body of Tutankhamun lay there, in silence. His eyes were black onyx. His face bore a faint smile. Carter recorded everything precisely, but something unsettled the air. Since the coffin was opened, a stench of decay never left the chamber. The lamps flickered, the workers grew sick. There were dried blood marks on the floor, or were they old paint? A snake appeared inside Carter's tent. It was as if Egypt itself was trying to defend itself. Decades passed, and many still debate the curse. Some say it was coincidence. Others believe in spiritual vengeance. Tutankhamun died young and isolated, perhaps cursed in life, not just in death. Studies revealed he suffered from genetic diseases, the result of incest among pharaohs. His tomb was too small for a king. Maybe no one expected him to die so soon. But what remained was the power of mystery. The discovery reignited the world's fascination with ancient Egypt. And even today, tourists visit his golden mask as if gazing into the eyes of eternity. Carter died decades later peacefully, without tragedy. But he never returned to the Valley of the Kings. Even away from the tomb, Carter could not sleep. The desert seemed to breathe around his tent. Night, time sounds came from under the earth like muffled laments. An assistant swore he saw a figure in a white tunic drifting among the dunes, but vanished when pursued. A dead snake appeared on Carter's bed. He saw it as a warning from the gods. Yet he stayed steadfast, recording everything with British precision. The mystery consumed him more than the fear. Something pulled him deeper and deeper. Inside the tomb, funerary masks seemed to watch the team. Masterworks carved in gold and precious stones, but their eyes were hollow and cold. Some workers claimed they heard voices within the corridor spoken in ancient Egyptian, like distorted prayers. The guardian statues subtly shifted positions. It was as if the tomb had its own defense system, and each artifact removed pressed on the shoulders of the one who touched it, as though an unpaid debt. Carter noted strange marks behind one of the panels. Carefully, they removed a layer of plaster. There, revealed, was a new chamber never reported before. Unlike the others, no gold-just inscriptions on the walls. They were rituals of punishment, not passage. Describing the return of a king cursed by his own lineage, Tutankhamun, or someone even older. The ink still looked fresh even after 3,000 years. And at the center of the floor were claw-marked scratches, as though someone had tried to claw their way out. Newspapers began to tally the deaths linked to the excavation assistants, mechanics, even occasional visitors, all succumbing to bizarre ends. Infections, poisonings, inexplicable falls. The world was split, science or supernatural? Carter came to be called the opener of the portal. He denied everything, yet documented each death. His list grew by the month, and with it, the burden of keeping the secret. No one wanted to enter the tomb anymore, but he knew there was more to discover. When they removed the famed funerary mask, Carter hesitated. It was beautiful, perfect, and unsettling. Tutankhamun's image showed neither fear nor peace, but judgment. He felt someone inside it watching him. Days later, he began hearing a low voice at night whispering his name. When asked, his assistant also heard it, but thought it was the wind. Carter did not respond. He knew the desert does not whisper without reason. At the back of the new chamber, they discovered an obsidian mirror, surrounded by symbols invoking Anubis, the god of the dead. Carter saw his own reflection, but with someone else's eyes, an ancient, deep gaze filled with rancor. He turned away the mirror, but his image took time to fade. Some archaeologists fainted upon touching it. Others wept inexplicably when they saw it. It seemed to contain more than reflections, fragments of souls. The artifact was removed, but never displayed. It vanished into some storage, forever, that night. Dark clouds covered the Valley of the Kings, but not a single drop fell. The atmosphere was heavy, suffocating. Horses balked, dogs howled relentlessly. A local guide knelt in trance, praying. He said the veil had been torn, that time had split in two, and that the dead would soon walk again. Carter did not understand, but felt the end of the excavation drawing near. Among forgotten papyri, they found a text signed by Ankhesenamun, the young queen, wife of Tutankhamun. She implored the gods to bring her soul to meet his. Described dreams where she saw the pharaoh chained beyond the beyond, trapped between worlds, crying for redemption. Some scholars believe she attempted forbidden's magic. Others think she went mad from grief, but her voice echoed through those writings, and her pain touched those who read it, as if she still called for help. Days later, a small stone pyramid appeared beside the entrance. No one remembered seeing it there. Its apex looked new, as though it had emerged overnight. Inscribed were curses against the thieves of eternal silence. Names scratched out at its base, one of them Carter's. He told no one. But from then on, he began bleeding from the nose almost every morning, always at dawn. One of Carter's diaries disappeared mysteriously. It contained details of the fourth chamber. Months later, it appeared in an antiquities shop in Rome, but the pages were covered in a black substance. It looked like ink, but burned when touched. Some scholars believe it was an attempt to conceal something. Others say the diary defended itself. Only 3 pages were legible, and they all ended with the same phrase, "He still breathes." The following night, swarms of flies covered the camp. They came from the tomb in nearly intelligent swarms. Invaded tents, extinguished lamps, bit until they drew blood. Carter ordered evacuation as a sanitary precaution, but there was no source of contamination. The flies vanished by morning, leaving behind feverish bodies and terrified eyes. One archaeologist had visions during delirium, claimed to see a black throne made of bones, where a pharaoh screamed with no mouth. Near the excavation, they uncovered a dry well, but it was so deep no sound echoed back. Carter tossed a stone and silence swallowed it. Days later, a worker fell into it. He never made a sound. He was never found. At night, footsteps were heard coming from the well rhythms of ancient sandals. But when peeked inside, only darkness, and a sweet, deadly scent like myrrh and death. Worn and consumed, Carter halted the excavations. He left Egypt with his body, and something else. He carried in his gaze a weight impossible to explain. In his house, the walls creaked at night. Visitors felt presences in the corridors. Carter stopped writing, and in his final days he muttered Egyptian names, name never translated for anyone. His last breath was recorded at 3:03 a.m., the same hour the tomb was opened years before. Decades later, a junior archaeologist revisited Carter's archives, discovered drawings of an unlisted chamber and the symbol of a closed eye. When he attempted to locate the chamber on a map, it didn't exist. No satellite detected it. Yet local guides pointed to a place where air refuses to pass. The young archaeologist vanished the following week. His last email said only, "The tomb breathes and recognized me." Today, the Valley of the Kings remains silently watchful. But guides recount stories of shadows trailing caravans, voices on moonless nights, and an ancient whisper carried by the wind. It speaks in ancient Egyptian, but those who understand never translate. They say the pharaoh has not yet rested, and that his tomb was never truly closed. After all, the dead may sleep, but oblivion, that never comes.